Welcome to a guide to new mods on Farming Simulator 19 on the 18th of March with me, MrSealyp. It's Monday the 18th of March and we have more mods for console. I know these will come out across all platforms, but obviously I'm playing on PS4, so I kind of do the reviews based on console. So what have we got? I'm going to start off with the large. We seem to be getting a lot of bunker silos at the moment, but this one is quite a cool one. I like this one. Not that I didn't like the other ones, but I like this one. This is, let me have a quick look. This is a lighted bunker silo. This is by Rockhound, and it will use 4 slots, which is pretty good, I have to say. I don't know what the capacity is. It doesn't give any dimensions, but it's not a bad size. I would imagine you're going to get a fair bit of chaff in that to turn into silage. But what's cool is it's lighted. Come to the side here, and it's like a football stadium. You'll have no problem working on this at night time. It's a bit wide, so I suppose depending on what map you're on, where you're going to place it, it's not going to be one of those ones you're going to be able to fit into a small farmyard kind of thing. But it's a pretty cool mod. I have to say I do like the lights. I like the sound effects. The switch box here is pretty cool. I think it's brilliant. I'll have a quick look in the store under placeables, and this is obviously under silos. Now, silos in game are pretty expensive. On Jim's map, then there's obviously Jim's ones, and the prices vary on his. But this one, the lighted bunker silo, is only 17,500, which is a really, really good price for a bunker silo. When you think you come down to the lizard ones, it's 15 grand for the bunker silo small, no lights, nothing at all. So I think for the size you get, and the fact it's got lights and all that kind of thing, 17,500 is pretty good. Not bad at all. Textures are good, detailing's nice. I like it, looks solid and chunky, and you know, where all the lighting rigs attached, you know, even the brackets and stuff, it looks like a little bit rusty, like it's been on there a while. The weathering on the brickwork and stuff, it's really, really good. One problem I did have, and it's a bit of a peculiar one. I don't know if it's the map, and it could always be the map, but I flattened this area out to do my guide twos on. When I tried to place it, it kept on saying area couldn't be, not terraformed, but it wouldn't let me place it. It was red constantly until I moved it up to a bit of land that had a bit of a slope on it. Then it let me place it, but then obviously then there was the kind of terraforming cost. So it was a bit weird that it wouldn't let me place it on a billiard table flat piece of land, but it would let me place it somewhere where it needed a bit of work. A bit of an odd one. Don't know why. You may find you don't have a problem with that at all on yours, but that's what I found on this one. So moving on, I think I'm going to go on to these ones here. These two are both by Whitebull Modding, and they're by a company called Gorenz, which is I think it's a Polish company. Gorenz Pula. We've got the Gorenz Pula Terra Softer, and we've got the Gorenz. I suddenly thought it seems really dark all of a sudden. It's like 8:15 in the morning. As I turn around, it's probably because of the lighting, isn't it, off of here. So we've got the Terra Softer, which is a cultivator, and then we've got a weeder. Nice little small diddy little weeder, which is really, really cool. I'll be totally honest with you, they're brilliant little mods. I really do like them. Detailing's good. Well, I mean, like I say, as you would expect. Very, very cool little bits of kit. We'll have a quick look in store. I don't know, before everyone starts going on, we don't need small cultivators. It doesn't matter, just, you know, go with it. The Terra Softer. Now, this is the only thing I will say. The Terra Softer is 5 slots, but it's 13 grand. It's only 2.5 metres. That seems a lot of money to me for a 2.5 metre cultivator. I don't know whether it's just me being pernickety. You can get the Polymag for 7 grand. Well, I suppose the cultivator, I've said this before in the cultivators before, the Kuhn Cultimer is only a 3 metre and that's 16 grand, so I guess it's, you know, don't worry about it. And then the other one we've got is the weeder. I'm going to do them both together because they're by the same person. The Gorenz Pula 2 metre. It's only 1,150, but it's only 2 metres. But it only requires 40 horsepower, so it is designed for your smaller farms, small fields, you know, Some of these are a bit pricey, to say the least. Obviously, they've got big widths on them. But if you're running quite small fields, it might be an option to start off with to go with something a little bit smaller. I personally don't run with weeds on because I'm finding the weed situation is a little bit hit and miss. But what I have done, I'm going to think what I'll do. Let me think. Without putting the crane on that. Let's hook that up. I'm not going to try and operate it on the front, but just to transfer it over. Just so you can see what they do. I let some weeds grow. Now these should be in the first grow stage, they shouldn't be any more than that, so this should remove them. That said, the sort of luck I've had with weeds playing in the game, I don't know, but we'll see. So if we drop it down, see, that's what I mean. These are, I don't get it. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm not missing the control anywhere. That is on the ground. Now, unless I missed a stage, which I can't imagine how I did, I was sitting watching it as they grew. And this is the problem I've had with weeds right the way through the game. Or using equipment where it should get rid of them, it doesn't. And then it either jumps straight to a second growth stage of weeds, or I really don't know. But anyway, it's a weeder and it's supposed to weed. It could be I've made a mistake, it could be something to do with the map, I don't know. Or it could just be the weeder, I'm not sure. But that's what it's supposed to do. What we'll do, you know, it seems very nice at first glance and that kind of thing, and that's why I say I don't hold a lot of truck with weeds and weeders at the moment, but they're supposed to be working on, I don't know, I know Seasons mod, if it ever comes to console, is supposed to have a more complicated weed system, which is just what we need, more complications, but I don't know. So this is the cultivator. There we go. Like I say, it's only a little small narrow one, but for certain setups, and like I say, if you're running a small farm and you've only got small machinery and that's how you want to operate your farm, again, it's something different to have in game. So there you go, that's the Garen's cultivator and weeder from Whitebull Modding. Not sure about the weeder. If any of you are using it, have used it and you're finding it's okay, let me know in the comments. I'm not quite sure, but it's one of those things that, you know, I'm never too sure with these things. Right, so moving on, we have got transfer forks. Now these transfer forks are by AS Agri. We've got transfer forks, or transfer Supra, and transfer R. These are interesting. I like them actually. They're quite cool little things. If we scroll across now, where did I find these? I've got to remember. Was it Baling Technology? I'm trying to think where I found them. I think it might have been Baling Technology I found them. Yeah, there we go. So we've got the transfer Supra for £700, euros and dollars, and then we've got the transfer R. So the transfer R is a standard single round bale collector holder, and then we've got the that one will set you back. How many slots is that? The single is 3 slots. Is that the right way around? That seems a bit weird. 3 slots, and then we've got the transfer Supra. When we click on that, we've got options. We can have pallet, which is supposed to be pallets, with pallet forks, and then we've got single, and we've got double. And it just obviously picks up round bales, transfers them. So, you know, okay, what's so great about that? We can, you know, pick them up and do that anyway with forks and that kind of thing. We can, but what I like about these is the kind of operating system for them. There's one thing that's a little bit odd, I will say, is the pallet forks don't adjust any wider than that. They're very narrow, so it's a bit peculiar. I mean, they will hold whatever you put on it. So I just came in from the side, but you can come in from the front. It makes no difference at all. But what you do, if you do L1 and circle, it drops them down automatically. Now, unlike other things where you're doing stuff with pallet forks and you've got to adjust them and get the right height, that sets it automatically. You haven't got to do anything then. You just go into the thing and it's at the right height. Absolutely fantastic. But here's the thing. If I now press L1 and circle... Oh, okay. This always happens. When I test stuff, it doesn't work. and then when you come to actually show it and say, look, there's a bit of a problem, it works perfectly. Okay, well when I tested this the first time, the pallet forks went straight through the IBC. It didn't pick it up at all. That's just typical, isn't it? Okay, well it might do that for you, I don't know, but I saved the game, came out, came back in, and it's working fine. But what you can do is you can strap them. So these have got straps. I've often found when you're moving odd things around, one thing at a time, that kind of thing, it can fling them about all over the place, they can fly off the forks and that kind of thing. But the only downside, I suppose, is because these are only transfer forks, it's not on a front loader, so you can't raise them up really, really high. This is literally just from moving them around A to B kind of thing. But I do like that you've got a tiny little bit of movement option on the 3-point link, and you can do it manually by holding L1 and using your right joystick up and down. But if you don't want to do that, when it's picked up, you can just do circle and it will drop it and raise it. Okay, so to be fair, the round bale fork does exactly the same thing, the single or the double. Attach that, swing round. But I like the fact it's got straps. I think that's really cool. It's a nice little addition to have. I like the raise and lower function. Like I say, they are just transfer forks, sort of thing. You would pick up a couple of bales, take them out to feed your animals or do whatever you're going to do with them. But I do like the option of the strap. Now I can do it inside or outside, as you can with most tension straps anyway in game. And I can just drive away and leave it where it is. Marvellous. But there you go. Those are transfer forks, and those are by AS Agri. Moving on. We've got a lot to get round. We have got, and this has come over from FS17, I love this trailer, such a cool little thing. This is the EB4. This comes under auger wagons. Very, very cool little thing actually. What I do like as well, things that have been ported over from 17 to 19, the detailing on them is fantastic. They've done really great jobs. All the guys that are porting these things over, they look brilliant. Now, why is it looking like that? If you've seen the one in FS17, you'll know why. But if you're new to game, actually what I might do, because it's daytime, I think I'm going to turn those lights off, because that seems to be really affecting the... Yeah, it still seems quite dark everywhere. So, I've got a fertiliser in at the back at the moment. Now, it comes under auger wagons, and if we just check in store, and we go to auger wagons, which is all over here, and we scroll across, it will take all the things that auger wagons take, but it will take all the crops and all sorts of stuff. Absolutely fantastic. It's only 9,500, which is really cool, but it's got a very, very small capacity. So again, small farms, small maps, those kind of things might be quite handy. But then saying that one there's an 8,000 litre, and that's supposed to be a seed and whatever crop one, it's 20 grand. So to be fair, 9,500 is not a bad price. But what I like about it, it doesn't have an auger pipe, and its little trick up its sleeve. This is 7 slots, and it's by Patyesz Modding. But what you can do, if I do L1 and my right stick, I can lift the scissor up and down for loading and unloading, which I think is just... Now that's the only thing. I was just going to say that, and I did it. Because it's on the right stick, and sometimes, unless you're absolutely spot on with up and down and left and right, see, up and down on the stick will give you that motion. Left and right will give you the tip. So if you're going up or down and you go even slightly to the left or right, you can get tip on it, which is a little bit, let's say, small capacity, 6,300 and something litres, wasn't it? But I thought, for things like this, when I'm doing my fertiliser, which I've been doing a lot on my Let's Plays and contracts, to fill this up and whiz this backwards and forwards, 6,000 litres will get most fills done of fertiliser. So I'm hoping it's going to be high enough to do this now, because it'd be a bit disappointing if it's not. There we go. Now, this will work on the standard one. You might get a little bit of collision as it tips, so you've got to kind of allow for that, but it's a very cool bit of kit. I like it. So like I say, the only downside is it doesn't scissor very high. So if you're using high-sided trailers, whereas an auger pipe will go up to them, and obviously this, I've only got the first stage on it, so it's only 9,000 litres. If you get the larger capacity ones, which sit a lot higher, that's not going to reach. So that's the only kind of downside to it, I would say. I like it. It's a nice little mod, and it was on 17. It will have its use, and people will, depending on what farm they're playing on, they'll find something to do with it, even if it's taking manure to greenhouses on here, especially on Mercury farms. But it's a very cool little mod. I like this one a lot. So Patyesz modding, 7 slots, 9,500 to buy. Very, very cool little thing. I do like this. So, last two that we've got in here today, and I've got some forestry equipment out for this reason, to show you a couple of things and check a couple of things. We have got the Kesler log trailers. We've got 2 available. I'm going to show you them in store first, and then we'll have a bit of a fiddle around with them. So if I scroll across until we get to forestry, there we go, and we get to the Kesler ones, which are here. So we've got the Kesler 122H with crane and the Kesler no crane. With crane it's 20 grand, or just under, 19,999, and without crane it's 9,999. So as close as you're going to get is 10,000. And again, it's about options. It's about having choice and a few different things to be looking at. If you could be doing logging and that kind of thing, they've got like a nice couple of little tricks up their sleeve. The with crane is 4 slots, without crane is 2 slots. The mod is by Krisjo. We'll have a look at the without crane first, I think. So we've got some options available to us here. We can have, let's get around to where we can where we can see a bit better. So we have Trelleborgs or Olisfors. So it kind of fits in with the Komatsu with the Olisfors and stuff on, which I quite like that. That's really cool. But then you can have this where it says, I'm trying to get to a position where we can see this a bit better. Bunk removed, which is what it's on at the moment. If I go one across, it says bunk mounted. So you've got an extra kind of set of prongs there to hold your logs in place. So those are your options: tyres, the Olisfors, and bunk mounted or not mounted. And then if we go to the one with crane, obviously it comes with a crane, and we've got some little suspension arms there. Same options available: Trelleborg, Olisfors, bunk removed, bunk mounted are the options. Now I know a lot of people don't find cranes easy to get on with. It's practice really at the end of the day with all of it. So here's the thing: if I go and just hook this up, obviously it will hook up to tractors and trailer hitches and whatnot. It will hook up. Let me just drop that there. I'll go and look at that one in a second. It will hook up to the Komatsu forwarder. The 875, I always forget the number. So as an additional unit it will hook up to. It's got some cool features, but there's a couple of drawbacks, I'll be honest with you. This modded one, I can't remember who it was by, and I do apologise. When you look at the size of the forwarder and the size of the kind of bay that the logs go in, and then look at that one, look at the width of it, it's pretty much identical. When you look at this one, it seems a bit narrower to me. Not a huge amount, but that can make a difference. I mean, it's definitely narrower. Not by much, but it is narrower. But what it can do is really quite cool. And I think the crane one does exactly the same thing. We can adjust the trailer itself, which is quite unusual. If I press L1 and X, that prepares it for operation. So it kind of puts the, let's put the lights on so you can see. So it kind of puts the lights away. So if you're going to be operating in the woodland, you're not going to damage them. It kind of tucks them away and puts them safely away. Then we've got L1 and right stick side to side. We can actually extend the trailer out. If I go up and down, we can move that set of times there. We can close it back down again. That's brilliant. Now if I do R1 and the same controls, I can do the back section. Bring that out and bring that out. So we can extend it right out. Now it's actually extended to its full extent, no longer than this one over here. But I like the fact that you can shrink it down a little bit. I'll say it's no longer. I mean, it is longer. The tines come out further, so it will support your logs a lot better. I found with this one, if they overhang, the whole thing starts to dip a little bit. So I think it's supposed to be so you've got a little bit more control. Downside is you can't remove this at the back. There's no option to remove this plate here. But if you're only going out and you're going to be doing 3 metre logs or 4 metre logs, they're not going to rattle around or fall out between the gaps, because when you look at some of these trailers, the gaps are quite wide. So it gives you that option to shrink it right the way down, and it will support whatever size logs you're going to be carrying. I think that's a brilliant feature. It's a very clever thing to have on there, that adaptability to adjust it in and out, front and back. Absolutely brilliant, really, really cool. And when you think about what it's doing, it's surprising it's not more slots. You know, when you think in game, some of the things that have come out and the high slot counts they've had, that's not a lot of slots considering what it does. Now this one, the one with crane, does exactly the same thing. But what we can do, what we do need to do, is we can switch between operating things. So what I'm going to do first is, let's just swing the crane round. Now we can bring the arm right the way out, or right the way in, as you can with the others. It's got quite a long reach on it, which is really cool. Now with this one, because we've got the crane on it, when you unfold it, ready for use, let's get into where the light's a little bit better. It actually puts the support legs out as well. So as well as looking for where the lights are, the support legs are out. So that's for transport. Let's put the lights on. And then when you want to operate it, you close it, and those support legs here at the front come out. Now the problem is, they don't come out very far, and when you look at the reach of the arm, if you've got logs on that, I can imagine this is going to get, look at the way that's rocking already without even any logs in it, it might get a little bit unwieldy, as well as the fact that you can go even further with it, all the way up like that. You're going to have to be, yeah, look, quite careful with that, I think. But it's very, very cool. Nice mod, very, very tidy. The animations are great. Let's try and get that crane on a little bit, shall we? That way. Now, when you get it, I think it comes kind of like this. But what you can do, I think with a lot of the other ones as well, you can bring it up and just right way, swing it right the way back in like that, and you can fold it up on itself in like that. And like I say, you can then, if I press and try and make sure I get the right controls, triangle changes the selection, and then we can do the same thing by adjusting all of this in and out, and move this one. There we go. And then R1, do the same thing. We can bring the back in, so we can make it smaller. We can adjust these arms here a little bit more. Got to get the right control. That one there. And then now this one, in when I bought it, the other one I got with that extra central one here above the wheels. This one here. With this one, I didn't choose that as an option, so that's the gap you'll have in the middle. If you don't have that extra mount, that's the gap you'll have in the middle. So like I say, I mean the crane's a bit, you know, it takes a bit of time getting used to, and obviously when you've got multiple operations you can do. With this one, because it's got the crane on it as well, you press triangle, it will switch select tool from crane to supports. So when it's on crane, you can adjust all of that. When it's on supports, you can change the size of the trailer with L1 and right stick, or R1 and right stick. And that's it for today. I know I've kind of whizzed through a little bit, and the cranes you're going to have a bit of a play with because they do take a bit of time. Like I say, I like it. I like the options. I like it something different and more choice. Again, it may not be everyone's cup of tea, and I'm sure people will comment and say I don't see what the point is. We've already got some in game, but you know, they're the mods that are out. Like I said before, I don't make them. I don't send them to Giants. I don't test them. I'm just reviewing them. I'm just having a look, showing you what's available, what's there, hopefully how they work. But as it stands at the moment, I like them. Good mods, very neat, very, very tidy. We've got mods from Whitebull Modding, AS Agri, Rockhound, Patyesz Modding and Krisjo today. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.